Hi, I'm Rachel Scott, and I'm the director of Y Yoga's Teachers College. And today we are practicing in this glorious and beautiful beach on the west coast of Canada. And we're going to be doing an intermediate flow class with a focus on opening up your hips. So it's going to be really yummy and delicious. I hope you enjoy it. Come into Sukhasana with your shins crossed. So cross at the very center of your shin bone rather than at the ankles. And flex your outer ankles just a little bit to give some support to your shins. Place your hands onto your thighs, sit up nice and tall, and close your eyes. Start by bringing your attention down into your pelvis. And begin by shifting your weight into your right sitting bone, and then taking a hip circle by shifting your weight to the front, to the left, to the back, and then continue on these circles to begin to bring more sensation into the hip joint itself. You can make these circles as small or as big as you like. It might feel nice to even allow the rib cage to become involved. And then take your circle the other direction. And keep breathing. Starting to oil up and loosen your hip joint. And then make your circle smaller and smaller and smaller until you start to come more to an upright position. And from the base of your pelvis, lift up tall through all four sides of your waist, through the crown of your head, and allow your shoulders to settle down your back. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Press your palms together until you feel your collarbones widen and your shoulders settle down your back. Release your chin down towards your chest and take a deep breath. And softly begin to open your eyes and lift your chin. Reach your arms all the way out to the side and turn your palms up towards the sky. Draw your shoulders down your back. Inhale, stretch your arms up and overhead and get really long through the sides of your waist. Take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, hinge forward from your hips and bring your fingertips forward onto your mat. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. And as you exhale, forward fold. Release your tailbone down towards your mat. Inhale, roll all the way up through your spine. Lift your heart. And as you exhale, chest forward, forward fold. Release your tailbone down, roll up through your back, inhale. And as you exhale, forward fold. This time, stay forward folding. You can reach your arms forward. And as you press your fingertips down, lengthen back through your hips. As you inhale, get longer through the sides of your waist. And this is just a gentle warming up stretch through the outer hips. Take one more deep breath. Exhale completely. Root your tailbone down, roll up through your back body, come all the way up to sit. Changing the crossing of your legs, extend your legs forward, and then cross your left shin in front. Inhaling in, reach your arms out to the side. Turn your palms and your upper arms up, and inhale, stretch up tall through the sides of your waistline. As you exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, forward fold. Root your tailbone down again, rolling up through the spine. Get a nice big stretch. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, hinge from your hips. Curl your tailbone down, round up through your spine. Inhale. And exhale, forward fold. One more time, roll your tailbone down. Inhale, up through the spine. And exhale, chest forward, hands forward. As you inhale, lengthen through the sides of your waist. And then as you exhale, release further over your hips. Soften through your hips, let your pelvis settle back and down. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale completely. Curl your tailbone down, round up through your spine, and come all the way up to sit. Make your way onto your hands and your knees. Place your hands underneath your shoulders with your index finger pointing straight forward, and bring your knees directly underneath your hips. Starting from your pelvis, curl your tailbone back, undulate through your spine, and inhale to reach your chest forward. As you exhale, start from your sitting bones, root your sitting bones down, arch through the lower back, and round your spine to the sky. Inhaling in, starting from the pelvis, reach your chest forward. And exhale, tailbone down, round through the back of your body, arch your spine to the sky. And continue on your own breath here, finding your own rhythm. And paying close attention here to the feeling of your thigh bones moving into the hip socket. And use your inhale to create a little bit more space through the sides of your waist, your upper chest. And use your exhale to lift the lower belly in and spread across the back ribs. Take one more inhalation, reach your chest forward. This time on your exhalation, curl your toes under and press your hips up and back to come into your first downward facing dog. Bend one knee at a time, give yourself some space here to press through the heels and stretch the backs of your legs. Press through your palms, soften your knees, stretch your hips a little bit higher up to find more length through the sides of your waistline. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, soften. Slowly walk your feet up to your hands. Place your feet hip distance apart and parallel, and then soften your knees and allow your spine to hang over. Release your head, release your neck. Even bring a soft sway into your spine. Take a deep breath, and on your exhale, let everything go. Bend your knees generously, root your tailbone down, and now slowly roll up through your whole spine. Take your time. As you come up, feel the weight start to pour down through your legs, through your feet. Once you come to the top, take a couple of nice and easy shoulder rolls. And let your shoulders soften down your back. Press through the four corners of both feet. Lift up tall. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale in, reach your arms forward and up. Lengthen through the sides of your waist. As you exhale, hinge from your hips, forward fold. Release your head and your neck. Inhaling in, lift up halfway. And this time, first time through, step 1 foot back at a time, come into plank pose. You can always lower your knees down here. As you inhale, lift up through your back body. As you exhale, reach your chest forward, elbows back, chaturanga. Lower your hips to the ground for the first time. Inhale, baby cobra. As you exhale, press up and back, downward facing dog, 5 breaths here. Root through the inner edges of your hands to anchor them down into your mat, and at the same time, wrap your outer arms in. Breathe into the back ribs, and as you exhale, let your shoulder blades draw closer to each other. As you root into the inner edges of your feet, press your hips up and back further. Take one more breath. Exhale completely, and at the end of your exhale, you can walk step or lightly jump your feet to the front of your mat. Inhale to lift up halfway. And as you exhale, fold in. Press through your feet, inhale, rise all the way up. Stretch your arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to your sides. Inhaling in, reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling in, stretch your chest forward to come halfway up. As you exhale, plant your hands and step or lightly jump back to chaturanga. Inhale, move into either baby cobra or upward facing dog. and draw the heads of your arm bones back. As you exhale, lift through your lower belly, press back, downward facing dog. And this time, bringing attention to your legs, hug the inner edges of your feet together, and then press the very tops of your upper inner thighs further back and wide and apart until you feel the backs of your thighs broaden. From there, take both sitting bones down towards your back heels just until you feel your lower belly lift up into your body. Take one more breath. Exhale completely. Look forward. At the end of your exhale, walk, step, or lightly jump your feet up to your hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold in. Press through your feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Stretch your arms to the sky. And exhale, hands down. One more like this. Inhaling and press through your feet. Stretch your arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling in, stretch your spine forward. Plant your hands, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale into your back bend. And then lift your lower belly up, press back, downward facing dog. This time, focus on the ebb and the flow of your breath. As you inhale, feel your whole inner body expand and widen. And as you exhale, feel the lower belly draw in, the pelvic floor lift, and the ribs soften towards the midline. Take one more breath. At the end of your exhale, again, bend your knees. Exhale completely. Walk, step, or jump forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhaling in, rising all the way up to stand. Exhale, Tadasana. This time, bring your feet together, toes together, heels slightly apart. Surya Namaskar B. Bend your knees, sit low into your chair, and then inhale, sweep your arms forward. As you exhale, forward fold. Straighten your legs. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale into your back bend. Lift your belly, downward facing dog. Still exhaling, step your right foot forward, turn your left heel on its side. Hug your thighs, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, hands down, step back, lower chaturanga. Inhale into your back bend, stretch your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Still exhaling, step your left foot forward, turn your right foot wide, hug in to rise up. Exhale, hands down, step back, lower chaturanga. Draw your belly all the way in. Inhale, move into your back bend, draw your upper arm bones back. And exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. Breathe. Use this downward facing dog as a time to reconnect to your breath. Slow it down. Slow your heart. One more inhale. And exhale. At the end of your exhale, walk, step, or jump your feet forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold in. Feet together, bend your knees, sit down to your chair, reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, come to stand. One more Surya Namaskar B. Bend your knees, arms forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, move into your back bend, draw your upper arm bones back. Root into your hands, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Step your left foot wide, hug in, rise up. Sit a little lower into your legs. Exhale, chaturanga. Keep your lower belly lifting as you descend. Inhale, move into your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step forward with your left foot, right foot wide. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lowering down, chaturanga. Reach your chest forward, keep your shoulders lifted. Inhale into your back bend. And exhale, cruise on back, downward facing dog. And breathe. Slow it down. One more slow inhale. Slow and complete exhale. Bend your knees at the end of your exhale. Walk, step, or jump your feet forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, sit low through your hips, and reach your arms forward. Exhale, Tadasana. Step your feet hip distance apart. Hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, forward fold over your legs. You can either hold on to opposite elbows here, or if you can reach your toes, then loop your first two fingers around your toes and get a good hold in Yogi Toe Lock. Soften your knees. Inhale, stretch your chest forward. Get as long a spine as you can. And then as you exhale, with your knees still bent, widen your elbows to the side and fold over. Now bring the weight a little bit forward into your toe mounds until you feel your heels get a bit lighter. Take an inhale. As you exhale, root down through your sitting bones, through the backs of your legs, and begin to stretch your legs. And then use the pressure on your big toes to lift your shoulders up and widen your elbows apart. Now relax your head and your neck and take 2 more deep breaths. Inhale, lift up halfway, stretch your chest forward. As you exhale, bring your hands to your hips, hug your feet towards each other, and then inhale, reach your chest forward, rise all the way up to stand. Release your hands by your sides. Inhaling and stretch your arms forward and up. As you exhale, forward fold over your legs. Inhaling in, lift up halfway. This time as you exhale, simply step back to downward facing dog. Step your feet together. Press through your hands. Inhale, stretch your left leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, draw your knee into your nose, round your spine. Inhaling in, stretch your left leg up. Exhale, knee into your nose, arch your spine like a cat. Inhaling in, stretch back through your heel. And as you exhale, draw your knee into your nose, round your spine, lift up higher by plugging into your fingers, and then place the foot directly between your hands. Turn your back heel down to the side and line up your front heel with the middle of your back arch. Anchoring your left knee directly over your ankle, rise up to Warrior Two. Press through the outer edge of your back foot and bend your front knee to a square. Interlace your hands behind your back and keep your elbows soft. Draw your shoulders back and down, lift your chest. And as you exhale, pull your left hip back as you bring your ear either to the inside of your knee, to the inside of your shin, or eventually all the way down to your ankle to the floor. Keep pulling your left hip back and in, soften your elbows, lift your shoulders up, up, up towards the sky. And then allow your head and your neck to release down. Anchor your tailbone just a little bit towards the floor so your lower belly lifts. Take 1 more breath. Exhale, push through your feet, and then inhale, rise all the way up, open your arms. And as you exhale, take your hands down to the floor. Step back. Exhale, lower down through your vinyasa. Inhale, move into a back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring the sides of your feet together. Inhale, reach your right leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, draw your knee into your chest, shift forward, round your spine, arch your spine to the sky. Inhaling and reach your leg back. Exhale, knee into your forehead, round and lift. Inhaling in, stretch your leg back. As you exhale, knee into your forehead, press into your back toes, press into your hands to lift up higher, and then place your right foot directly between your hands. Turn your back heel to the side, line up your front heel with the back arch, and rise up again, Warrior Two. Root into the outer edge of your back foot and bend your right knee down. Pull the outer right hip back and into your body more. Interlace your hands the opposite way behind your back. Widen your elbows, lift your heart, inhale in. And as you exhale, ear to the inside of your knee, your shin, or all the way to the floor. Soften into your right knee a little bit more to descend the upper back, the torso. Soften your elbows, lift your shoulders up and breathe. Take one more breath in. As you exhale, press into your feet and then use your inhale to rise all the way up. Open your arms, spread wide. And exhale, take your hands down to the floor. Inhale, step back into plank pose. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, move into your back bend. Exhale, back downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath here. Exhale, let it go. Step your feet together. Move your left hand about an inch in and an inch forward. Hug your legs in, squeeze your thighs, and keep your hips nice and lifted as you inhale, come forward and roll onto the outer edge of your left foot. You always have the option here to lower your right foot down in front of you for extra support. Otherwise, squeeze your legs together, lift your hips up higher for Vashisthasana. Now take your right hand, draw it underneath your left shoulder blade, and draw your shoulder blade more in and up. Float your right arm up towards the sky, squeeze your legs. And if you're feeling stable here, turn your gaze up towards your thumb. Take a nice breath, push through your left hand, and keep pushing through your left hand as you lower your right hand down. Press back, downward facing dog. Feet together. Step your right hand forward and in about an inch. And again, squeeze your legs hips high as you come on forward into Vashisthasana. Root through your hand and use your left hand to lift your right shoulder blade onto your back. Float your left arm up, squeeze your legs. And if you've got your balance here, you can take your gaze up towards the sky. Keep pressing through your foot in your hand as you lower the left hand back down and press all the way back to downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow, smooth exhale out. Inhaling in, stretch your left leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, draw your knee into your chest. This time, place your foot by your left thumb. Lower your back knee down. Hug your inner thighs together, and then inhale, stretch your arms up. Sit back a little bit into your hips, and then root your tailbone down to lift your pubic bone up. And then begin to settle your hips forward. Soften your front ribs in, and then lift up more through the front of your body. Press through your feet, inhale, lift up. And as you exhale, slowly bring your hands down to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhaling in, stretch your right leg up. Exhale, draw your knee into your chest and place your foot by your right thumb. Lower your back knee down, hug your inner thighs, inhale, rise on up. Squeeze your inner thighs to square your hips and then curl your tailbone down as you move your hips forward. As you inhale, use your breath to get more length through the back of your body and draw the heads of your arm bones back. On your exhale, lower your hands down to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Bring your feet together again. Squeeze the feet, the shins, the upper thighs, and inhale, reach your left leg up. As you exhale, this time draw your knee to your outer left tricep. Get it as high up onto your arm as you can. Inhaling in, stretch the leg back. Draw the knee onto your outer right tricep. So cross your body, press through your left hand more. Inhale, reach the leg up and back. Exhale, draw the knee into the center of your chest, push through your hands, and again, place the foot right in the center of your mat. Turn your back foot down, inhale, rise up, warrior two. From here, shift your hips back towards your back heel, bring your forearm onto your thigh. Take a look at your front knee. Super important here. Press your knee more to the left so the knee is tracking right over the center of your foot. Bring your back hand onto your hip. Use your block if you like, or you can bring your fingertips to the floor, walk your back toes in a little bit, plug down. Now before you go into Ardha Chandrasana, pull your outer left hip more into your body. Step forward onto the left foot, lift your back leg up. Continue to pull your outer left hip back and in. Stretch through the right leg and then turn your torso open. If you've got your balance here, you can take your gaze up towards your thumb. Press down through your standing leg, open your chest, and then look down first. Bend your standing leg, keep tracking the knee over the center of your foot as you step back, Parsvakonasana. Inhaling in, warrior two, settle through your feet. Exhale, take your hands down to the floor. Step back into three-legged downward facing dog. Reach your left leg all the way to the sky. As you exhale, draw your knee into your chest and place your left foot by your left thumb. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart here, and then squeeze your inner thighs and rise on up into a high lunge. Settle down into your front leg. Hug your outer hips in and open your arms to the side. As you inhale, squeeze the inner thighs, reach the arms up. As you exhale, open the arms out to the side, sit down into your legs. Inhaling in, reach the arms up, squeeze the inner thighs. Exhale, float down. Inhaling in, hug in, lift up. Exhale, sit on down, and then bend your back knee halfway to the floor, squeeze your inner thighs, keep rooting your tailbone, then press your back leg to straight. Bend your knee halfway down, sit a little lower, squeeze your inner thighs, press your back leg to straight. One more time, bend your back knee, halfway down, squeeze the inner thighs, and now lightly lower the knee down. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, lower the hands down to the floor. Take your hands to the inside of your front foot and walk your foot a little bit wider. Send your inner thighs back and high first, and then start to curl your chest forward for lizard pose. Now you're welcome to stay on your hands here. If you have the flexibility, then you may choose to bring your forearms down onto your blocks, or even to bring your forearms all the way down onto your mat. If you notice that your left knee is starting to wave out a little bit, turn your toes out and hug your thigh more in. And then everybody send your inner thighs back, pull your chest forward, and soften your chest down towards the floor. Option 2 here is to lift your back thigh up. Two more breaths. Exhale, lower your back knee down, hug your inner thighs, walk your hands back up, and then lift your back thigh towards the sky. And draw your left thigh, your left knee into your upper arm. Squeeze in, lift your hips higher, and then float your left foot off the floor. Small chaturanga here. Squeeze in to press back up. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Slow, deep breath in. And exhale through your mouth. And let go. Feet together, inhaling in, reach your right leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, draw your right knee to your outer right tricep and tap it in, hug in. Inhale, stretch the leg back up. And as you exhale, cross your body this time, knee to your outer left tricep, press more through your hands. Inhaling in, stretch the leg back up. Draw the knee into the center, lift up taller, and then place the foot directly between your hands. Turn your back heel down, rise up, warrior two. And then scoot your right hip back, pull it into your body, tip forward, Parsvakonasana. Bring your top hand to your hip, look down. You can walk your back toes a couple of inches in here. And then keeping an eye on your right knee, keep pulling your outer right hip back, track the knee over the center of your foot, and bring your fingertips to the mat about a foot in front of your pinky toe. And you're welcome to use a block here if you like. Shift forward onto your right leg. Pull your right hip in as you float your left leg up towards the sky. And then get long out of the pelvis. Lengthen through the sides of your waist. And keeping steady through your right leg, begin to turn your chest open towards the left. Float your top arm up. And if you've got your balance, you can take your gaze up towards your thumb. One more breath. Look down. Bend your right knee. Track your knee towards your right pinky toe as you step back. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. And then as you exhale, float your hands down to the floor. Turn onto your back toes, step back, three-legged downward facing dog. And as you exhale, draw your knee into your chest and place your foot by your right thumb. Squeeze your inner thighs for support and inhale, rise all the way up, crescent pose. Sit down into your legs. Open your arms out to the side. Finding more strength through the inner legs here. As you inhale, straighten your legs, float your arms up. Exhale, press through both feet. Sit down. Inhaling in, reach your arms up, squeeze in. Exhale, sit down. Inhaling in, squeeze in, lift up. Exhale, sit down. Last time, inhaling in, squeeze in. And exhale, sit down. Bend your back knee halfway to the mat. Scoop your tailbone more under and soften your ribs in. And then exhale, press it to straight. Bend your knee halfway to the floor. We're getting a nice psoas stretch here. Exhale, press it to straight. Bend your knee almost to the floor. Curl your tailbone, press it to straight. Here's the last time. Bend your knee almost to the floor. Scoop your tailbone, scoop your tailbone. Lightly lower your knee down. Inhale, stretch your arms up. And then exhale, bring your hands down. Bring both hands to the inside of your front foot. Shift your hips back a little bit. And you can widen your right foot a little bit more to the right. Keeping the inner thighs moving back, now begin to propel your chest forward and lower down. So again, either staying high onto your fingertips, forearms onto your blocks, or forearms all the way to the floor. Squeeze your outer right hip back and lengthen your chest forward. Use your breath to find a little bit more space. Option 2 here is to lift the back thigh up. Take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, settle your back knee down towards the floor. Walk your hands back so your right hand is to the inside of your right foot and lift your back leg and hip up strongly. Squeeze your right knee onto your upper arm, lift your hips, and then lift your right foot up. Inhale. As you exhale, little chaturanga down. Squeeze in to lift back up. Press back, downward facing dog. Optional child's pose. 3 breaths. Coming back to downward facing dog if you've been in child's pose. Bring the sides of your feet together again. Step your left hand a little in and forward. Keep your hips high. Inhale, coming forward again, Vashisthasana. Keep your hips nice and high. Stage 1, foot forward. Stage 2, feet together. Stage 3, draw your knee into your chest. Turn your knee up towards the sky and then press through your feet to stretch your leg. Press through your hand. If you've got your balance, you can take your gaze up towards your toes. Press your feet apart, press through your hand, and then lightly lower your leg down. Lower your right hand down, downward facing dog. Slow, deep breath in. Slow exhale out. Second side, bring the feet together again. So zip up the inside of your legs here, that's gonna help you. And then step your right hand forward and in. Keep your hips high and your legs hugging in as you come on forward. Lift your hips up higher, version 1, left foot forward. Version 2, feet together. Version 3, first knee into the chest, knee up towards the sky, lift your hips, and then press your foot up. Root your right foot down into the floor more, and then stretch your legs apart from each other. Use the strength of the legs reaching to find more space. Press through your hand, release your foot if you've got it, and then turn back down, downward facing dog. Again, slow, deep breath in. Nice big exhale out, let it go. Bend your knees, look forward. At the end of your exhale, choose to walk, step, or jump your feet forward. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, fold. Now bend your knees, Set your hips back, hug your inner thighs together, and inhale, reach your arms forward for chair pose. Now really finding the hip creases here, send your inner thighs back and sit a little deeper. Send your sitting bone way, way back behind you. And then curl your tailbone down just a little bit and use that to lengthen through the sides of your waist. Inhale, rise all the way up. And as you exhale, hands to your sides. Step your feet hip distance apart here. Bring your weight onto your right foot and come onto your left toes. Sit your hips back and down. Now you may notice that one hip wants to shift forward, so keep pulling them back evenly. Lift your left leg up, cross your ankle over your right knee, and then sit your hips back down a little bit deeper. So again, finding the hip creases, moving back. Palms can either come to your chest, forearms can come onto your shin bone. Continue to move your chest forward. That's really going to give you a nice stretch through the outer left hip. Hug your inner thighs a bit towards each other. Bring your hands to your heart. Stay on your right foot, but draw your left knee up and then squeeze your knees together. Get a little lower. So you squeeze the knees to find the strength of your inner legs, shift forward, and then begin to extend your left leg back. Bend a little deeper, stretch your left toes back, and then lightly lower them down. Option to touch the floor, or if you can, right from here, come on up into a high crescent. Hug your inner thighs together, root your tailbone, sit a little deeper, and then stretch your arms up. Open your arms to the side, pull your right hip back, shift forward, and then place your elbow onto the outside of your right knee. Press your palms together. Root your tailbone down, get a little bit longer through the sides of your waist. Inhale. And as you exhale, turn your chest open. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Back leg stays nice and strong. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Hug your inner thighs. As you inhale, bring your hands down to the inside of your front foot again. Lower your back knee down. This time, turn your right toes out. Flex your right toes up. So the right ankle is going to stay like a ski boot almost. Pull your outer right hip back, and as your thigh bone pulls back and starts to roll open, the foot will naturally lift off the floor. So take a look at your ankle and make sure that there are no wrinkles in it at all. Just like lizard pose, send your inner thighs back and then pull your chest forward. So you'll begin to feel a stretch through your outer right hip. Keep tucking this right hip back and in. Curl your heart forward, and again, fingertips, elbows onto the blocks, or you can bring your forearms all the way down to the floor. As you inhale, curl your chest more forward. Then as you exhale, find some place to soften, like between your shoulder blade, your jaw. So with every inhale, there's an extension. With every exhale, you soften. One more deep breath. Lengthen your spine. Exhale out. And then hug your inner legs in. Bring your hands back to flat and turn your toes forward. This might be a nice option to have your hands on blocks. Coming into half splits, squeeze your inner thighs and slide your hips back, flex your front toes. If your fingertips can easily reach the floor without your back rounding, then go ahead and take the blocks to the side. So as your inner thighs move back, inhale and stretch your chest forward. If you'd like to take this a little further, you can come into full Hanumanasana by extending the heel forward. And for today, we'll take it slightly out to the side and then lengthening your back leg back. Making this more of a hamstring stretch, hinge forward over your extended leg. Keep your feet nice and active and pull from the sole of your foot more into the body, so it feels like your leg bone is plugging back and in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. And take one more breath as you inhale, lengthen. And as you exhale, soften your jaw, soften your shoulders. Hug your inner thighs into each other. Give yourself a little support. If you're forward folding with your leg back, come on up. Hug in. Walk your back toes forward. And then we'll all bend our front knee. Place your hands on either side of your front foot. Lift your back thigh, step back, downward facing dog, and then take a couple of moments here to shift your hips a little bit from side to side. Take a nice deep breath. And then bending your knees, looking up towards your hands. At the end of your exhale, walk, step, or jump your feet forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold in. Bend your knees, sit low again, feet together. Send your inner thighs back and reach your arms forward. So imprinting in your body this deepening of your hip creases to sit lower. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to the sides. Now, coming on to the left foot, come onto your right toes, and then send the hips back again. Deepen the hip creases, just like chair pose. Lift your right foot up, cross your ankle over your left knee, and then send the hips back more. So this is what's really going to start to open your hips. You can bring the palms to your heart. You can bring the forearms onto your shin. Send your inner thighs back and stretch your chest forward. Remember to breathe here. Now, hug your inner thighs in, a little bit of support through the legs. Hands to your heart. Lift your right knee off, squeeze your knees together to hug into the midline, and then send your hips back, reach your chest forward. Begin to extend your right leg back into space. Pull your heart forward towards the front of your mat, bend your left knee, and then step back. Fingertips can touch down or right up into crescent pose. As you exhale, settle down into your legs. Hug your inner thighs, press your back thigh up, root your tailbone down. Open your arms to the side, twist to your left, reach your right arm forward, and then place your elbow to the outside of your left knee. Lengthen your spine forward, get really long through the sides of your waistline, and then twist by drawing your right rib cage underneath you. Press the palms to open your heart. Now remember the back leg and use the back leg to power you as you stretch the crown of your head towards the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Hug your inner thighs. Inhale, come back to center. Hands down to the floor to the inside of your front foot. Lower your back knee down. Awkward pigeon. Second side, turn your left toes out. And again, keep your foot just like an Allen wrench or a ski boot, as if you have no ankle mobility whatsoever. Pull your outer hip back so that the sole of the foot begins to peel off the floor. So it's really more here about sending the hips back than about letting them drop forward. So instead, lift your left hip up, pull it back, and then curl your heart forward towards the front of your mat. Stay on your fingertips, forearms to the blocks, or forearms to the floor. Squeeze your inner thighs back, and then use your breath. As you inhale, the breath floats your heart forward, and then as you exhale, find another place to soften, whether that's your hips, your jaw, your mind, your shoulders. And let the breath do more of the work here now. Hug your inner thighs in, walk your hands back to your inner foot, and then turn your left knee forward. Working into half splits pose now. Hug your inner thighs in, slide them back. Again, a great time to use your blocks to give yourself a little bit more lift through the chest. Plug your heel into the floor, pull your outer hip back and in as you stretch your chest forward. And then just like the other side, there's again an option here to work into full Hanumanasana. You want to take your left heel a little bit more forward, and this time a little bit more to the left. Walk your back toes back. Hug your thighs in more to support your spine. And then you can exhale and forward fold. Reach your chest forward. Exhale, soften. Whichever variation you're in, pull from the sole of your front foot more into your body to square your hips. And just like awkward pigeon, use your breath. So inhale, find more space. Exhale, soften. One more deep breath here. Squeeze the inner thighs. If you're in the long Hanumanasana, then use the hands to help press yourself back up. Walk your back toes in. And everybody bend your front knee to come back into a lunge. Place your hands, lift your back thigh, step back into downward facing dog. Optional child's pose, optional to stay in downward facing dog. Third option of vinyasa, inhale, come forward into plank. Exhale, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhale into your back bend, draw the upper arm bones back. And exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, curl your tailbone. Look up towards your hands, and at the end of your exhale, walk, step, or jump forward. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees again. Send your hips way back. Squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the inner shins. Float your arms up, chair pose. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, Tadasana. For the peak pose today, Ekapada Galavasana, it's a great idea to start off with 2 blocks. So place your blocks at the front of your mat, and then come to stand right behind them. So we've been in this position before. Bring your weight onto your right foot, lift onto your left toes, and then send the hips back deeply like a chair pose. Lift your left foot up, cross your ankle over your knee, and then send your hips back further behind you. Stage 1, hands into your heart, elbows onto your shin. Stretch your chest forward. This is a really nice hip stretch here. Option 2, to work a little bit deeper into the pose, you can bring your hands down onto your blocks at whatever height you need. That gets you a little bit deeper down into your hips. Now to transition this into a hip opener, move your blocks aside and bring your hands down to your mat. Stage 1 here to get this hip opener is to wrap your toes like a little monkey tail around your upper arm. And then bend your elbows so that your upper arms become a little shelf for your shin. And maybe you can just play here today to practice weighting your shin into your arm and see if you can shift forward, perhaps even lift your right toes up. So one of the tricks to this pose is to really claw the mat and then lift through your back body so your core supports you. So once you've got your shin on your arm, squeeze in, round your back, and then float your right foot off the floor. Trust your arms, begin to stretch back through your leg until your leg is straight. Draw your knee back into your chest, bring your foot down, and we'll all come back into the hip stretch. Elbows onto the shin. Hug in, press into your heel, hug your thighs, inhale, rise up, come to stand, Tadasana, and take a nice deep breath. Give your hips a little shake, let go of any tension through your shoulders, and then we'll do the second side. So same thing, start with your blocks. This time, weight onto the left foot, come onto your right toes, send your hips nice and back. Find your left foot so you can really trust your left foot. Weight a little bit more into your heel, and then lift your right foot up, cross it over. Send your hips back. So this is a really awesome hip stretch, so you can just stay here, send the hips back evenly and work the chest forward. Option 2, hands to your blocks. And then eventually again, to work into the arm balance, hands onto your mat. Yogi trick number 1, find the little monkey tail, wrap your toes, really use the strength of your foot to support you. Trick number 2, make a little shelf with your upper arms. Shelf forward, back ribs lift a lot to support you. Levitate your foot, lean your chest more forward to counterweight you as you stretch your left leg back and then lift it higher. Draw your knee into your chest again. Place the foot down. We'll all come back into the hip stretch. Hug your inner legs, press through your standing foot. Inhale, rise on up. Tadasana, hands down, shoulders relaxed. Take a deep breath. And give your hips a little shake. Coming on down to the mat. Step back to the front. Inhale, reach your arms up, nice big stretch. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Either right to downward facing dog or one last vinyasa, back to chaturanga. Into your back bend. Big inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. So if you'd like, from here we can play with jumping our legs through our arms. So one option here is to bring your hands onto blocks. That helps make the arms a little longer, so that there's a little bit more space between your chest and your mat. So if you want to play with this version or you're just starting out, press your hands into your blocks, bend your knees. Now the first stage here is just to cross your legs and jump to sit. So that's stage one. Stage two, if you're working with straight legs, you can either work with your hands on the blocks or you can work with your hands right on the mat. Either way. Bend your knees, but keep your hips nice and high. Reach your tailbone, lift your chest. So the more you lift your chest, the more space you create for your legs to move through. Look forward, everybody. Hug in. And then you can either jump cross-legged or see if you can jump your legs all the way through. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries. All right, from here, coming into a twist, cross your right foot over your left thigh, and then turn your left thigh out and draw your left heel back towards your right butt cheek. Sit down evenly onto both hip points. Hold on to the front of your shins. Lift up tall through the sides of your waist. And as you exhale, turn your chest open to the right. Use the strength of your elbow against your leg to lift up a little taller, and then plug your right fingertips down behind you. As you inhale, lift up. As you exhale, revolve and twist. Inhale, get taller. Exhale, twist. Inhale, get taller. Exhale, twist. Inhale, come on back to center. And then stack one knee on top of the other and bring your heels so that they're about equal distance from your hips. And again, you still want both hip points sitting down evenly. If you find that you're really off on one side, then go ahead and sit on a block. From here, flex your feet just a little bit to create some engagement through your shins. Bring your fingertips behind you. Inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, forward fold over your legs. If you have an easy time here keeping your spine straight, then go ahead and walk your hands forward. Lengthen, and then this time as you exhale, you can let your body round. Let your shoulders relax, let your upper body relax. Let your jaw relax and come back to your breath. Take 2 more breaths. Breathe all the way down into your hips as you inhale, create a little space. As you exhale, release and soften, let go. Pressing your hands down, root your tailbone, and roll slowly up through the back of your body. Come all the way up to sit. And now coming into double pigeon pose, or Agni Stambhasana, slide your knees away from each other so that your shins are stacked. And a really nice modification for this is to simply come back into Sukhasana, where we started class. They're very similar. If your shins are stacked, then make sure to go ahead and place this ankle right on top of the knee or even beyond it and flex your foot. Lift up tall through your spine, fingertips behind you. And as you exhale, forward folding from your hips, keep your spine long. If you can keep the back of your body nice and straight here, then you can go ahead and bring your hands forward. As you inhale, lengthen. And as you exhale, release over your legs. And in this pose, you can let yourself do kind of anything you want. If it feels really nice to bring your head onto a block, you could bring your head onto a block. Bring your head into your hands. Eventually letting your head come to the floor. Take your last breath with a big sigh out through your mouth. Root your tailbone down, slowly roll up through the back of your body, come all the way up to sit. And settle. Lean your hands back behind you, extend your legs out, and then take a moment to give your toes a little turn in and turn out. And coming into the second side, bend your left knee. Cross your left foot over your right thigh. Turn your right foot out and draw your heel back towards your left hip. Sit evenly onto both sitting bones. And I like to use my hands here to really lift up tall through the spine. Inhale. As you exhale, revolving the rib cage. Use your right hand to give yourself a little bit more traction against your leg to lift yourself up. Stay rooted through your left hip, lift your heart, and then as you exhale, twist. Broaden your collarbones apart. Stay nice and heavy through your pelvis, and then use your breath to find more of the twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Twist, exhale. Inhale, come on back to the front. And again, stacking the knees for Gomukhasana. Point your knees straight forward if you can. If your knees are offset a little bit, that's okay. Heels are about the same distance away from each hip. Flex the feet a little bit, fingertips behind you. Use your hands to help you lift your chest up. And then exhale, forward fold from your hips. Again, you have the option to walk your hands forward. And for this pose, as your hips stay nice and heavy, you can take the option to round through your back, to let your head and your neck go. Take one more deep breath. Completely exhale. And then root through your tailbone and slowly roll up through your back body. Widening your knees apart from each other. Stacking the shins. Again, option here to drop the heel right in front of the knee for Sukhasana, or stack the ankle on the knee for Agni Stambhasana. Hands behind you, lift your chest. Fold from your hips, exhale, reach your chest forward. Again, nice long spine here. You can bring your hands forward and let your head settle, either on your hands or on a block. Starting to let things unwind here, soften, and get heavy. Let the muscles of your hips start to open and relax. Allow your pelvis and your thighs to settle into the mat. Soften your shoulders, your jaw. And take 2 more deep breaths. After your last exhale, root through your tailbone. Use your hands to help yourself roll all the way back up. Lift your chest. Hands behind you. Unfold the legs, extend them out. And give the legs a little turn in and turn out. Turning to the side of your mat for this last pose. Taking the legs nice and wide into a V. And it's quite all right if the legs are a little closer. Everybody's hips are a little different. Make sure that the center of your foot is lined up with your shin and your thighs so that the feet aren't rolling in or out. And press your thighs down. Hands behind you. Lift your chest up. Get nice and tall. And as you exhale, begin to forward fold from your hips. Plug your fingertips into the floor behind you to lengthen the sides of your waist. Just coming to a place where this feels good. If you have a lot of flexibility here, then you can start to walk your hands forward. And keep stretching your chest forward. Walk your hands forward to whatever place is comfortable again. You can let your head relax onto your hands, onto a block, or eventually to the floor. Stretch out through the soles of your feet as you pull your outer hips back and down. And then relax the back of your body, your shoulders. Let your breath do a little bit more of the work. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Take one more deep breath in. Sigh it out as you exhale. If your hands are outstretched, slowly begin to walk your hands back up. And then slide your hands underneath your knees. Give yourself a little lift. And turn back to the front of your mat. Placing your feet mat distance apart. Let your knees drop over to the left, drop over to the right. And planting your feet. Curl your tailbone, slowly roll down through your back. Drop your knees over to the left. Place your left foot on top of your right knee. See how that feels? If that feels nice, leave it there. And if you have a favorite spinal twist that you'd rather do instead of this one, please feel free to do that. Let the right thigh bone roll down towards the floor. Take a nice deep breath. Release your ankle off of your thigh. Inhale, bring your knees back up. And exhale, lowering them down. Second side. Again, option to bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. Give that knee a little bit of traction. Extending out through the left knee. Relaxing the hips down. Take one more deep breath. And then release your right ankle off of your knee, float your knees up. And then one at a time, extend your legs long. A last little turn in and out through your toes to let the muscles of your thighs completely let go. And bring your hands down to your sides, palms facing up. And relax. Shavasana. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. You can even take a nice big stretch, or a big yawn, or a big sigh. And slowly draw your knees into your chest, roll over onto your right side. Take a moment here, cradle your head on your arm. Press your left hand down, slowly make your way all the way up to sit. Come back into a comfortable seat. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Bow your head down to your heart. And take a moment to acknowledge yourself for taking the time to practice today. For working down into the depths of your hips. Have an amazing day. Namaste.